President today has made a series of phone calls to world leaders. He has spoken to Prime Minister Koizumi of Japan, Prime Minister Berlusconi of Italy, Lord Robertson of NATO, Crown Prince Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, and Egyptian President Mubarak. As you know, earlier today he spoke with Mayor Giuliani and Governor Pataki to express his concerns about events up in New York and inform them, of course, that he will be going there tomorrow. The President also visited a local hospital today. I'm going to have a little bit more to say of that shortly. And beginning in just a few minutes, the President will meet with members of Congress from the Virginia area and the New York area to talk about the ongoing efforts of the federal government to be of assistance to the families and to the victims. Tomorrow will be a national day of prayer and remembrance. The President will attend a church service here at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., and the President is asking all Americans at their lunch hours to go and attend a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a place of their own choosing for worship, to say a prayer in assistance to the families and the victims of this horrible incident. As for the activities of the federal government, let me fill you in on several activities, including the one Helen just asked about. The Department of Defense will be announcing the names of those who were killed in the Pentagon disaster, if families have been notified, for those families that have been notified. The Department of Housing and Urban Development announced that they will direct all FHA-approved lenders to provide relief to families with FHA-insured mortgages affected by the recent attacks by providing additional mortgage flexibility and not to start or threaten foreclosure actions for at least 90 days. Secretary Martinez has also asked all major mortgage lenders, including those who are not insured by FHA, to consider providing relief to families as well. The Department of Treasury, in conjunction with the Department of Justice, has announced the deployment of agents from U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Border Control, and U.S. Customs at designated airport security checkpoints throughout the country as part of the heightened security measures that have gone into effect. The Secret Service has expanded the security perimeter around the White House, this is what you have seen here, as a precautionary matter. All further questions that I'll refer to the Secret Service. The Department of Transportation, Secretary Mineta, has ordered that national airspace will be reopened to commercial and private aviation. They did so earlier this morning. Airports will reopen on a case-by-case basis only after implementing a more stringent level of security. The Department of Justice, in conjunction with the Department of Treasury, I indicated, has beefed up the security at the airports, and the President has directed Attorney General Ashcroft, and he announced it earlier today, to streamline the application, approval, and payment process for benefit claims of eligible survivors of firefighters, police officers, medical rescue personnel, and other public safety officers who died in the line of duty as a result of the act of terrorism in around our nation on September 11th, 2001. Secretary of Health and Human Services Tommy Thompson is in New York. He has announced that the Department of Health and Human Services will be working with the Federal Emergency Management Administration to provide coordinating counsel and service to victims, their families, and rescue workers. And the Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, Whitman, is also in New York today, and she'll be having a briefing at 5 o'clock. Finally, let me just say this. The President was very touched by his visit to the hospital today. At the hospital, he met with people who are in a burn unit now, who have survived. Some people are there as a result of the heroic actions they took in saving lives. The President met with one family where a mother stood by the bed of her son in the company of a soldier who rescued her son. And she said, "Mr. President, you have no idea how much this means to my family that you are here." He and Mrs. Bush were very touched by the courage that they saw at this hospital, and by the determination of our nation and its military and all the people who were affected by this, and the people in New York City. The President is also aware there are people in this room who haven't seen their children in days. The President is determined, his resolve is clear and strong, and America is united.